Welcome back to this Inverary Classic on this wonderful afternoon. Anyway, sorry, I tried. Apparently, I can't do it today. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Sink the Bismarck with me, Wolf 190D. Just a little bit of humor first thing, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying it. But for those of you that might not remember, before his movie career took off, Adam Sandler had some audio stuff that to kind of stand up sort of stuff that he did. It was really funny. And if you're good, actually, you could hear the voices of his other buddies, the ones that always make appearances in his movies. Like Dante from Grandma's Boy, and actually, speaking of Grandma's Boy himself, you can hear those guys in those audio tracks. So it's good stuff. Sometimes it's interesting to go back and relive some of those glory days. So anyway, here we are. We're back with our campaign, and more updates actually have come out. So they've actually the developer studio for Ultimate Admiral, they have been doing quite a bit. And one of the things that they've been doing a lot lately actually is modifying the involvement of the minor nations. So maybe we'll get a chance to see that in action today. Now, which fleet of mine is moving into the Irish Sea? It's this one. Okay, so it's the Kaiser task force. All right, let's see here. Where are we with our research? Oh, and actually, there was a really big update most recently. That does remind me. There was a very very big update recently with the tech tree itself, which has really altered. So what I've found is that you can't just jack the tech budget up to 100%, and I don't think that works from the get-go as well. Um, so that's going to be a big thing moving forward. Actually, is that it's no more from the start. You get to crank up 100% on your tech budget, unless you really have that much money that you can give to it. I think my crew training also has been altered just a little bit. What month are we in? We are in June. I think what I would also like to do actually right now is go ahead and do another micro upgrade. Give me another 1,700 tons um, in the shipyard. Though we're rapidly getting to a point where 1,700 tons on a battleship is going to be kind of like, are you kidding me? So anyway, sort of keeping the folks abreast of the updates because we are at 1612 live. Oh yes, there's another thing I should be doing right there. We go. Okay, so um, moving right along. Where are we anyway? We I think are currently at war. Yes, we are in a war with the United States, and the United States are going to be, uh, apparently anyway, pumping their ships into. Where's this guy going? His destination is the North Sea. Move to Wilhelm. He's moving to Wilhelmshaven. These guys are moving to the North Sea, but they're not moving anywhere. This is the Helgoland class battleships, which let me see here. The Helgolands. Yes, the Helgolands are under refit currently, and the Helgolands had a very very long refit on them. Those guys are moving over to the Irish Sea, and the MG42 class is moving to the Bay of Biscay. No, I don't want them going over there anymore. I don't think, unless, hold on a second. Why were they moving over to the Bay of Biscay? Is it because some of the American ships were moving over to the Bay of Biscay? No, okay. Okay, so let's cancel that. And let's find out where the bulk of his ships are moving. They're actually moving over here. And we've got the Koenigs over there right now. So the Koenigs were going to intercept the MG-42s with their destroyer escorts. That's kind of what I'm doing with those fleets. Are positioning themselves elsewhere. And we have our Koenig class ships, 176 tons worth of ship, moving over to Belfast so that we can conquer Ireland, hopefully in the next 6 turns. Actually, I think we had a follower sign up on a day that I didn't. So to Drift King Cody 19, thank you for the support. And to everybody else, all of our returning guests and visitors, thank you as well for your continued support. So let's go ahead and end this turn now that some of these other things are out of the way. We're going to go ahead and end this turn. And wow, look at that. We jumped from -2 to positive 16 million on the income per turn. I mean, the tech tree, oh man. This is gonna the tech tree upgrade was really big actually because it was one of the things that set apart nations like Britain or Germany or France, set them apart from nations like Spain and Japan. And it was, things that I had noticed in other campaigns that I've done. Playing an American campaign, playing a British. At least I started a British campaign, German campaign. Was I able to do it with the Austro-Hungarians too? I don't recall. It's been a while. But for the most part, if you were one of the really the biggest of the major nations, you could theoretically actually start off maxing out your transport production, and then maxing out your tech tree, and then from there you just quickly overtake everybody. Um, the tech tree change. Not sure how it's going to work long term, actually. I have to keep you abreast of that because I've got a couple other campaigns I'm working on the side, just to sort of toy around with other nations and things. Which brings me to I guess a thought, which I don't know, how would everybody feel about me doing maybe a Japanese campaign or a Spain campaign? I know who was it? I think it was Zach. Zach kind of specifically requested a Spanish campaign. But I like the idea of playing with Japan because they start off very, very small and isolated. They're kind of off in the corner all by themselves. And they had an interesting naval philosophy leading up through the First World War. They were a little different. They were more in favor of fast and maneuverable capital ships. So anyway, war between Britain and China. And then, of course, we've got one of our scatter guns over in the Caribbean that's going to be harassing the American transports. Okay, so he I for some reason was a little concerned, but now that I look at the battleships that he's got, they've got 2 twin turrets, which means they're still running pre-dreadnoughts. And actually, I think, as I recall now, I should have remembered that anyway. So. I don't think this battle is going to be particularly exciting. I apologize in advance, but we'll just have to see. Do I want to go at him with my destroyers, or do I want to just keep everybody behind and let my battleships go at him? Well, it is the debut of the Koenigs, so let's go ahead and we'll set the ships to sail there, and then the rest of the ships will just sort of stack them up over here. The Niobe. We've got 5 9s, we've got 3 5s. That's right. I had just to where I was starting to put deck torpedo tubes on my light cruisers. So where is the torpedo range on this ship? Oh wow, 6.2 kilometers is their torpedo range. And with fast tubes, these are the new destroyers. with fast torpedoes, they have a 4.7 kilometer range. That's actually really nice. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and fast forward this and get these guys into action. Now the Koenigs, as you can see, were a major upgrade over the Kaiser class because the Kaiser had that really weird echelon, and all they did was they took the turrets and moved one of them to the center, and the other one to a superimposed position in the front. So this is where you start getting into, and this was a classic build. This was more of a historical build. The turrets becoming just more on an inline position. Anyway, let's see where we are in relation to this enemy battleship. The good old German 5.9s are still doing really good work. And the main guns haven't opened up yet, so we're still. Let's take a look at the Vermont here. Yeah, see, it's still a pre-dreadnought ship. And 17.8 knot speed. Yeah, he's not going to outrun us. So let's go on ahead. And maybe, just maybe, take one of these V1200s. So we're gonna run him down. And now the main guns are opening up. So the Vermont, I think the Vermont stays. Flooding. It's not going to work out too well. Let's just put it. Alright. And maybe this is why they made the changes that they did to the small caliber shell today. Actually, that was a big caliber shell. Probably. that'll be it. No. And this is something new. So the Netherlands and the Korean Kingdom, they've lost their homeland. Um, United States caused problems with all these other countries. Japan failed to gain Northwest Korea. Okay. So here's the thing. I've got one scatter gun is over here. Okay. B-73s. Let me check my fleet real quick. Uh-huh. Actually, why don't I move these two out to Majuro? Uh-huh. Okay. Best they're gonna do is 1,200 tons. Destroyer 1. Okay. And we do actually have we can actually build battle cruisers now. Mark II 14. So let's go ahead and take a quick moment, and we're going to go ahead and design a battle cruiser. They're good because typically they build a little faster than battleships. They're not as durable, but they can be significantly faster. So see max optimal speed 26.5 knots versus the 22.3 knots. That is the Dreadnought 1. And this unfortunately is part of what we have to deal with on a battle cruiser hull. So I'm going to set it at 20,000 tons to start off. And I am going to want them to be pretty quick. So I'm going to go with 25 knots. We're going to go standard bulkhead, standard crew quarters. For the beam, we're going to go with -3. Yeah, I'd like to go with -3 on the beam. And I'll give it a 5% increase to the draft. All right, so we're going to go with 20,000 tons, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go with a, let me see here, which maybe advanced foredeck number 2. We can put the foredeck tower right there. Now for main guns, what do we want for main guns? Do we want to go right to 14-inch Mark IIs, or do we want to go with Mark IIIs? Some of our Mark III guns. I want to try to go for 4 turrets. And something that I'm going to actually double check real quick. The Von der Tann, I think was the first of the German battle cruisers, the historical ones. And it was equipped, well, what was its displacement first and foremost? 19,003. So full load was 21,300 tons actually. So I could do another historical build. Right now I kind of don't want to. It had eight. It had 8 11-inch guns. So that means 4 11-inch turrets. Like I said, I'm going to want to do things a little differently. So let's go with geared turbines first and foremost. Secondary tower, what do we want? Well, again, I'm kind of a fan of this, or I'm partial to these advanced towers. Could go with a simple tower. That's real nice. Yeah, no, that kind of looks weak and lame. Yeah, so let's go with the advanced rear deck tower. Main guns, I think what I'm gonna do actually is give this guy 13.5. I'm gonna give this guy larger barreled weapons, and see how that works out. Or do I? 20,000 tons. Let's see where we're at. Let's see where we are going to be. The Von der Tann. Von der Tann had wing mounted guns. So we can do that maybe if we do it right. So do we go with 11s? Do we go something a little bigger? 26 to 28, 26. The towers I put on here are probably a little bit bigger than the historical ones anyway. So, there again. Do I want to go ahead and put 13s on here? Let's go ahead and put those there. And we'll go ahead and mount some side guns. We'll mount these as side guns. Apparently Von der Tann had yeah, see, it's gonna be a little bit much trying to mount those like that. Von der Tann had a single stack. That barbette doesn't exactly look right, does it? Oh, really? Come on. I mean, I've kind of gotten away from the whole wing mount thing anyway, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, so if we go ahead and put one of these hyper funnels on here, 35, 37. What about a hyper funnel 1? And I like the hyper funnels because these ones with the cranes, they actually let's see here. They actually improve damage control. But that being said, the question though is, all right. So if we go up to induced draft boilers, and we put a gross funnel number 2 on there. Okay, how about that? We can do that. And then it's just a matter of grabbing another one of these and putting them putting that down in there. There we go. Now we've got four turrets mounted in there. And I don't know, does that look a little, it looks a little weird. It looks a little odd. But we're going to go ahead and work with that. So we're going to upgun the bejesus out of this thing. We went from 11 to 13s. We're also going to want some 5.9s. Which are we going to have? And that's going to be, so we can put semi-oil fuel on there. That's going to lighten this thing up a lot. Very good, very good. Nickel steel, we're going to go with Krupp armor 2 with barbette number 2, because the idea here is going to be more avoiding direct confrontation with larger ships. Let's go with anti-torp number 1, double hulls, reinforced bulkheads, anti-flood 2, and a citadel number 2. So we've got 5,000, just under 5,000 tons to deal with here. We're going to do high-capacity shells with semi-ballistics, I think. Maybe standard armor piercing. Standard reloading. Let's try this. We can always modify that later. Electro-hydraulic turrets. What was the armoring on these guys? 9.8 inches. So can we go to 10 inches? 5, 5, 5. We'll go 5, 5. And then on the deck we'll do 2 inches. On the forward deck we'll do 1.5, and on the aft deck we'll go ahead and drop 3, and that gets us almost within perfect balance. But before we go any further, yes, let's go ahead and plug in these casement guns. So let me see here. I'm going to put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can go ahead and stick 5. That gives us 10 150 millimeters. We go 13.5-inch guns. Can we do that? Yes. Okay, so now the aft weight is too much. And we can come down, and we can come down, and we can come down, and look at that. That gives us perfect balance for the time being. And then we're back to way overweight on the front end, right? Okay. Aft belt, if we do that, no, that's aft weight. There we go. Okay, so we keep tweaking the armor, and this is part of how this works. It's part of what we do. All right. I think which gross funnel 2. I think I'm going to go with a hyper funnel number 2 instead. All right, that's gonna be a little bit better, maybe. Plus it gives us that damage control, which, because of the nature of this ship, I want it to sort of be a long range raider more than anything else. What's the maximum on the conning tower? 12.8. Yeah, we'll go with 12.8, and then we'll go with 2 inches on the superstructure. Some guns have poor sector fire. Which guns? Which guns have? Is it the casements? Is it any of these casements? Maybe. 0.5, the length on that is going to be that. The length on that is going to be that. And so you can get those to work sometimes if you just jimmy the position a little bit. Okay, so we've got 4 13.5s on a much faster ship, which means that these guys are probably going to be replacing, oh, which one's it going to be? Siegfrieds? No. They're going to be replacing probably actually the Helgelans. Though we're not going to put them in a massive task force either. So 25.5. If we do that, okay. Now, feasibly, I don't know, how would that work? I'd have to broaden the hull back out for that to actually be a feasible thing. If I wanted to put two side mounts on this as well. I mean, we could do that, but I'd prefer to just leave it center line like that. Standard shell size. What if we drop it down to light shells? It'll give it an increased rate of fire and accuracy. Might be good. Okay, so range and damage, but it's -2.5 versus -4.5. It's not as good on the range, but it's a less of an erosion on the accuracy. So let's go with Cordite 2. And then for the explosive charge, because it's a battle cruiser, I don't think I want to go with Dunite, because this guy's going to be a little lighter than what we're used to. So I'm going to go with 5 inches on the inner belt. We're going to go with 1 inch on the inner deck. All right, that's going to get us 100% armor. Okay, stereoscopic rangefinder number 2. And I'm going to go without enhanced reloading for a moment. And it's something I've kind of been wanting to toy around with a little bit. Is that it says its standard is better for long range engagements. There again, less aiming speed, less turret traverse speed, which makes actually no sense in close range engagements. Increased hull weight. So we're going to leave this on standard reloading right now. And I mean, it's fine, because right now with 13.5-inch guns, we're getting 1.0. We're getting around a minute, which is honestly, right now it's fine by me. If the ship proves inferior, well, that's going to be another thing. All right. We're gonna go with 2 inches on top on these casements, and then on the main turret, let's go with 3 inches of armor on the turret top. We're gonna go 16 on the sides, and we'll go 12 on the barbette. That still gives us a lot to work with as far as loadout and everything else is concerned on here. So maybe we can bump him up to 26 knots. Yes, or bump her up to 26 knots. And then we go to increase the range to maximum range, and we've still got about 1,000 tons to work here. Auxiliary engine. Let's give them an auxiliary engine. Let's go to barbette number 3. We're going to go to anti-torp number 2. Now, this is an interesting thought actually, because I hadn't noticed it before. But adding anti-torpedo bulges increases the ship construction time. So maybe it would be better to build a ship without, and then add them later. I'm not entirely sure. Do I want high capacity shells, or do we want to go with base fuse? Base fuse would give these guys. You know what? We don't really need to worry about that. All honest, I don't think that needs to be a concern really. The HE shell penetration, because for me HE shells are more about setting fires anyway. Okay, this will give this ship some wiggle room. So if I decide to update it, I can add in enhanced reloading if I want. So we're about 300 tons under max load. We can lengthen the barrel on the main guns if we want, but right now she's perfectly balanced. So let's go ahead. We're going to save this design, and keep in mind this is based off of the. This is going to be based off of the SMS von der Tann. It's not an entirely historical representation, because the super mounted turret on the rear wasn't a thing on the actual ship. This would have been a pair of wing turrets side by sides in the middle of the ship. So the ship was actually probably more broad, but I'm going to go ahead and say that is going to be the von der Tann, or rather, in this case, it's the Grafspee. Okay. And let me get this nice view of this. I'm going to grab that real quick. Okay. And let's it says some guns have a poor sector of fire. I don't see it. Now what you can do is you can elongate this and put another super firing pair in the midships, middle part of the ship. That might be interesting. But anyway, let's go ahead and save that. 26 knots with a 14,500 kilometer range. The ship will go far. So anyway, we've got our Magdeburgs. And then the newer cruisers are the Wiesbadens, but I think the Wiesbadens are mine layers. Saxony class heavy cruisers. Kinpu, that was a capture from the Japanese. The Ariadnes also are mine layers. It'd be interesting to take a look at those in relation to the main battery. Yeah, they're sitting right underneath the max load though. So see, the scatter guns might even start to be replaced by these battle cruisers. So anyway, let's go ahead and take one of these. We're going to build one of these battle cruisers, and we're going to put them out to sea, and hopefully get an idea how well they are going to work. Launch them in Kiel. And then for our destroyers, we have 4 months. Next turn, I think I'll go ahead and build another lot of those destroyers. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do over here in Ireland. Ireland is going to get conquered. Okay, now the rest of his ships are going to begin to show up. Huh? Okay. Now, if we go to Yarmouth, we got 4 months left on that. If we go to Dover, Helgoland is done. So let's go bring this ship back into the fold. Hmm. Now, what I don't understand is I have 2 fleets up here. They're all set to sea control, and yet they don't jump out and nab those guys. Hmm. I think I'm going to go ahead and send them over there. Yeah, let's send them over there. Mm-hmm. Hmm. 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 Mark 115s. Okay. On to the next turn, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee real quick. War continues. Hey, there we go. We like to see that. War continues. Hopefully they've done something about the war just randomly ending. This is actually another nice feature, actually. Our government wants to threaten Britain. Um, Instead of just, so there's been an increased control and instance of some of these sort of minor things. And we are at 62.8 unrest right now. So no, I don't want to threaten Britain right now. Um, what I do want to do though is try to get some events that reduce. Oh my goodness. He's got another one of these garbage battleships coming. All right, you know what? We're just going to send the destroyers at him this time. I wanted to let my battleships have some fun, but that takes too long. Who needs it to take so long, eh? Okay, so. Okay, come on. See this oversensitive nonsense. We'll get to see how these destroyers actually perform. At least a little bit. Okay, he got a partial pin. 4-inch gun partially pinned our destroyer. And we actually partially pinned his main gun. We might burn him down before we even get up into range to use torpedoes. might be the best thing. Ah, I got hit by my own torpedo. It almost looks like the whole front end of this destroyer had been blasted off. Get up right alongside him. There we go. That's gonna give a nice nice hit. Wow. Okay. And light damage to our destroyers. Bulgaria was conquered by Romania. Ecuador has been conquered by Brazil. And Romania is pushing the advantage on Bulgaria. United States conquered southern Brazil. Wow, okay, so the United States are kind of moving around down here. That's a little disconcerting. Should we smash his fleet and then try to come over here? Maybe. Excuse me. Oops. I overdid it. I was supposed to build 12 more of these. Or 6 more of these anyway. The previous turn, actually. I'm going to move. No, not that. Oh, good grief. I did that. That's my bad. Do I have any of the 45s left? I think I sold all of those off. I'm not mistaken. Nope. There's still two of them. Let me go ahead and scrap these. 'Cause I don't think we even have any friends left. We don't have any Minor Nation friends left. Nope. Not a one. Do I have any fleets out in the area here? How much weight do I need? 17,000. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Okay. All right. That's going to do it for this turn. So, folks, as always, for those of you that stopped by today, thank you very much. For those of you for the continued support, thank you even more. As always, be sure if you're enjoying the content to like, subscribe, follow. It does help to appease those algorithm gods, and it does help the channel to grow. Till next time, folks, take care. This is Wolf190D signing off.